healing my inner child wounds led to me becoming free. Not only in life of all the aspects that held me back, the 9 to 5 job, the toxic relationships, whether it's a friend, romantic relationship, whatever it was. Because we only have a finite amount of energy per day. And so I was trying to get my base level needs met, like love. Because if we don't find it in ourselves, we're going to look for it externally. And so I was spending a lot of time doing activities, and most of this was unconscious. I thought I was choosing, I want to be with this person or whatever, but it was really out of a space of lack. Not necessarily because it was out of a space of abundance. It was because I need this love. And so by spending all this energy, I ended up attracting these different toxic relationships. And since we only have finite energy per day, the amount of energy that we use on these relationships keeps us from putting this energy in to other aspects of our life where we want to develop, whether it's our passions, maybe we want to leave our 9 to 5 job, or maybe we just want to do a specific thing and we don't have the energy to do it. And so one of the things that I've seen most is toxic relationships drain your energy more so than anything I've ever experienced. And so if we're trying to step into a new version of ourselves, a new life, we have to look at where we're spending this energy. Because if we're not careful where we spend this energy, we're going to spend it and drain it trying to fulfill our own needs. And so being able to heal that wound where I need to seek that love and validation externally saved me so much energy. It wasn't only until then that I was able to really progress and truly become free and run my own business and travel the world, because a relationship would end and I would feel vacant and I'd feel like I'm missing something, and I'd feel this abundance of lack. And I would end up subconsciously searching for more external validation, whether it was through a friend, whether it was through another relationship, or whether it was trying to develop another relationship. And so the amount of time and energy and focus kept me from moving forward. Because it's like we live the same cycle and the same things happen over and over and over and over again until we face them. And so if you find yourself consistently attracting these types of people that are toxic, and you're spending a lot of your time and energy on relationships that aren't benefiting you and aren't causing to be a growth for you and the other person, then it's something we have to look at. Because we'll continue to face those patterns until we heal this inner child wound. And so this carries over from the lack or the abandonment or the attachment issues that we developed as a kid. And so this is programmed into us at an early age, because we're in a hypnagogic state from age 0 to 7, state akin to a hypnosis. And so we live out those patterns. And so if we come up with a extremely toxic family environment, we're going to find that toxic environment externally in our own life. until we decide to be conscious of it and decide to work on healing these issues. And so for the first step for me into getting rid of these issues was first being able to feel the love within. Because when I wasn't feeling the love within, then I was searching externally for it. Failed relationship, failed energy. And it's like, look, I spent, 2 years building that relationship and now it's not here. What could I have done with that energy? What could I have done with that time? Instead of worrying, instead of chasing. And so we spend that energy to actually build instead of chase out of a lack. Then we can really start to focus our energy. So that's the first step. We have to be able to feel the love within. If not, we're going to continuously search for it forever, and then it's just game over. You're going to live in the same cycle. You're going to live in the same 9-to-5 job. You're going to keep experiencing the same stuff. And you're just going to call it fate, and you're just going to blame the other person. That's what's going to happen. You know why? Because that's what I did. And that's what I've seen so many people do. And it keeps them back. Because often they're like, how? How did you get to this place where you can travel the world? Where you can help people? You can live in your passion. I had to let go of all the things that were holding me back from being this version of myself. And spending all this energy was keeping me from doing that. So first step, we have to find the love within. And then the second step is we have to heal our inner child wounds. Because there's triggers and circumstances that come up in our life when we don't feel supported, when we feel alone, then we start to search for that. Because there's different cues that we read from as a kid. Oh, if I do this, I'll get love. And so we'll continue to act out those patterns. Even if we allow ourselves to feel that love, these patterns are woven deep. And so we have to go in and heal these issues. And these are childhood core wounds. And so there's an experience of somatic release through breath work, trauma release, reprogramming the nervous system, and letting go of these triggers and these beliefs that are pulling us back into the cycle. Because we might be on the good path, but maybe a friend leaves us, or something goes wrong in a discussion with a partner, or just a person, or your boss. And then we start to use that energy to chase, because that's a trigger. Because when mom or dad pulled back, you learned that you had to create some sort of signal that would be like, look, mom, dad, I need attention. And that can show up for me. It would be to cause negative attention, cause drama, cause all sorts of things. Be like, look, pay attention to me. And so we need to be able to release those triggers. Because if not, we'll just fall back into it. We'll continue to live the same. Because those triggers are so hardwired into our nervous system and subconscious mind that the body goes on autopilot. Because we're living out these traumatic patterns. And we want that love and validation from our parent. And this is just reflected back to us in the relationships that are in front of us. That same dynamic that we had with our parents, we're reflecting that. So that's something we got to realize. And so that's the second step. We have to be able to release these. And what I found the most effective into healing these is breathwork and meditation. Absolutely crucial. Absolutely 100% crucial. And so the third step, once we've released all those different patterns and triggers, the third step is we have to take a new path. Because if we go down to the same old path, we're going to get to the same old destination. So we have to take somewhere new, right? To get somewhere new, we have to go somewhere new. And so once we felt that love within, once we release those triggers, now it's time for us to take a new path. Because when we're in that situation, we're not with a partner, and so we realize our old subconscious pattern was to search for a partner to get that love and validation that we wanted, to fill our base need and desire. And so realize that when we're alone in these aspects of time, that our default operating mode, operating system, is to look for that validation and love externally. And so we have to continue to go down a different path. And so when I had let go of all the toxic relationships, toxic friendships, and I was just alone, and I was sad, I was broken down, I was depressed, I was anxious, because I wanted somebody to be there for me. But in building my business and becoming free, I had to let go of those patterns, and I had to choose a new path. And so instead of going down the path and looking for a different woman or a different friend to fill that love and validation, I went down the path of building and constructing something in my life, following my passions, which is breath work, and then I build it upon that. And so I followed that path so that I could get to somewhere new. And that led to me becoming free, because I wasn't bogged down by these toxic relationships. And when I wasn't bogged down by these toxic relationships, then I could step into my new version of myself rather than the old cycles. And so if you're going through this, know, step 1, find the love within. Step 2, heal the childhood issues. And step 3, choose a new path. And so I'm going to be releasing a inner child healing guided breathwork in this upcoming week. That's going to be a complete, totally comprehensive guide on walking you through on to heal these patterns and to releasing them so that you can step into something new. You can step into your passions, you can free up energy, and then you can put that energy into something that you want to build rather than just building a relationship that's going to fail because it's built out of lack and out of abundance. Because when we build out of abundance, that's when everything starts to succeed. We have to have that good foundation, because without a good foundation, it's just going to crumble and fall apart. And so when relationships are built on those ideas of lack and then I want something out of the other person, then they fail. That's how all my other relationships failed. That's how everyone I've ever seen has really failed, because they're trying to extract something. And so the most successful relationships that I see is when people are attracted to each other and they want to add and grow together. They're not trying to extract something out of that person because they're whole and complete. And so this guide is going to help you walk through that process so you can step into your power, because once you're chasing your power and your dreams, then you're embodying passion, you're embodying love, and then you're ultimately going to track that, and your life is ultimately going to reflect that. And so peace and love to you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to have to cut this video short. It's literally pouring down rain and I'm getting soaked here. See you guys.